7 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everybody. This is the regular meeting of the Leonard Village Council. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2019. A couple little asides here. We had a great strawberry festival, even though it's either heat or rain on Strawberry Festival Day, and we got both. So I think we're through that, and it'll probably never happen again. Let's hope so. Aside from that, also, we want to note the loss that the village experienced over the last couple of months. Mrs. Mary Sue Sotheby passed away, 100-year-old lady that many knew her from her, not only her son, Daniel, and her daughter-in-law, Shar, but her husband, who had been a fixture around the village as well. So I'm sure we all express our heartfelt compassion and thoughts go out to the Sotheby family. And also a former resident, Mr. Dave Edgar, who used to live down next to across from the mill. He passed away. So our thoughts, and his son Steve still lives here in the village. So our thoughts go out to all of those folks today. So with that, I'd ask that you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Want to try that again?
Right?
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this community.
Don't forget.
Thank you for this country, and ask that you guide the decisions of this council. In your name we pray, amen.
All right. Okay. May we have a roll call for attendance of the village council?
President McDonald?
Here.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Here.
Mrs. Arundel? Here. Mrs. Swack? Here. Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
We'll note for the record that both Clerk Cindy Grosskopf and Treasurer Judy Verse are present. Council has before it the minutes of our last regular meeting, which was June 10th, 2019. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve the minutes would be in order.
I make a motion we approve the minutes of the June meeting.
Second.
Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. All right. Council has before it a proposed agenda. Unfortunately, item number 1, a representative was not able to come tonight regarding the donation to the mill due to a medical situation. So hopefully we'll be able to accommodate them at our next meeting. So we'll strike number 1. Also ask the council's indulgence, we need to approve a couple of items. One of them is Protect contract for the right-of-ways, and also discussion on sidewalk repair bid letting as well. So I'd ask the council's approval of that amended agenda. Are there any other amendments?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'd like to second that motion.
All in favor of the motion to approve the amended agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay. Council has before it bills, and we'll handle them in chronological order, of June for the village. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the treasurer's report. My apologies. I heard the mumbling over there. I knew something had to be wrong. Put my foot in it again. Okay, so this is for the treasurer's report for June. first, and then we'll follow with the report for July.
I make a motion, we receive and file the treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, I ask we do a roll call on that, please.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Treasurer's report for July. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to receive and file that report would be in order.
I'd like to motion that we file the July report for the treasurers.
I'll second it.
Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call please for receiving and filing the July treasurer's report.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes,
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
okay. Moving on then to payment of the bills for the month of June. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections on that? On those bills? Council will recall that when we canceled the July meeting, we authorized the treasurer to make the necessary payments in our absence.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $11,439.71 in the general, $42.10 in the major, 0 for local for June of 2019.
I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call to pay the bills for June?
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Arundel? Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried to pay the June bills. The next item is the accounts payable for July. Same conditions as before. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to pay the bills in the amounts stipulated would be in order.
I make a motion, we pay the July bills, the amount of $22,608.27 in the general fund, $205.80 in the major fund, $72.50 in the local fund.
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, do we have a roll call to pay the bills for July?
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is public comment. If you'd like to address the village council, we ask that you be brief and to the point. If you're here about another item that is on the agenda, you will have an opportunity to speak to it at that time. That said, anybody care to address the council? Yes,
I'd like to know what's going on with the sidewalks.
that's on the agenda.
That's on the agenda?
Yes.
I don't have it yet.
It was added.
It was added.
It was added.
Just,
Okay,
Is there anything else?
yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, Miss Ashley.
I looked for it on here and I was hoping it would be. I understand somebody applied to help the village.
Right.
Nothing's on here. What's going on with that?
Don has yet to be, Don intends to hire this person, but he hasn't done it yet. That's what's going on.
Okay. then
That
put it all down.
he was authorized to
Okay,
proceed by me. So,
okay.
okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that because I thought maybe it was held up. by
No,
you.
not at all.
Thank you. Okay,
No.
what's with the roads?
That is on our agenda. It is under the
The
DPW.
sinkhole.
The DPW item.
Excuse me. Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sorry.
Can I ask a question?
You talking?
Absolutely.
What are you guys talking about civilians being hired?
Oh,
So everyone understands
we-
what's going on.
Don was looking for some part-time help to help in the village to assist him with some of the
Okay.
work. And we got a, application weeks ago, actually, 3 weeks?
Are you kidding me?
No, I don't know.
Oh, I will definitely get a hold of you.
Well, no, Don, I think we spoke about it right after the Strawberry Festival, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, it hasn't been that long.
Okay. But, yeah, no, it's just Don's schedule is so hectic that,
But this would help him.
yeah, no, he knows that. He was
Help
anxious.
the village tremendously.
Yeah, he's all for it. He's all for it.
All right, I'll be talking to Nanny then.
I'll bet you will.
No, I will.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Just trying to understand.
My apologies if it wasn't clear. Okay, anybody else care to address council? Come on, somebody's dying to say something. Chris, come, no?
I'd like to have something done with the alley. It's getting kind of rough again,
I will mention it to our favorite DPW manager.
and the brush around the end there
Yeah.
is really coming up.
Yeah,
That new person could help big time with that.
under Donnie's direction.
You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, it'll still help Donnie.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing.
80 hours a week.
Cindy, I'm not arguing, I'm
It
just
needs to
saying.
be done, it
Yeah.
looks really bad around here, and the road was a big issue.
Yeah,
Very upset about that.
yeah. Well, you'll get a chance to, in
Oh, I will.
in a few minutes.
Unless I hear something good. That was ridiculous.
Okay.
Oh, it shows you what good neighbors we have.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, we'll move on to new business. The first item for consideration is the Oxford Community Cable Television Cable Agreement. Basically, this agreement is a franchise agreement for Charter to provide cable TV service in the village of Leonard. As such, approval means that they may continue to do so for, I believe the term is 10 years that they suggested on the agreement. And just for everybody's knowledge, the state of Michigan last year, actually it was a couple years ago, made a standard franchise agreement legislation so that this agreement that we're looking at tonight is mandated, the language is mandated by the state. The only thing we have an option for is for the franchise rate and the PEG rate for the village. And in each case, there is a maximum set by the state. And the maximum amount is 5 for the franchise rate, 5%. And the maximum for the PEG fees is 2%. To that end, we have been provided with information that is also relevant to satisfy the requirements of the state and the cable provider to demonstrate where the money is going and how it's being used. So I submitted this to our village attorney, and his response was basically what I've already told you, and his recommendation that we authorize the maximum of 5% for the franchise agreement, 2% for the PEG fees, with the understanding that Charter will likely push back and try to find fault with it because they're trying to shrink their costs or increase their profits. So to that end, I would recommend to the council that we follow the attorney's advice. However, we do have present the Oakland or Oxford Community Television manager, Mr. Bill Service, and Terry Stiles. If you have any particular questions, you can address us and we can get them involved as well. So, does council have any questions at this point? Okay, public? Bill?
Yeah, if hired by this Bill Service, station manager, Oxford Community Television, Char's been doing the cable commission for us for 140 years, I think. And she gave information for us every month, that she, important things that she could. And you folks are all new. The elected people got one of the older ones over here, they're still here too. But I will give you some information about this station, just for you, and people who aren't going to have discs, don't watch us at all. So I could sit down and explain this, and I'll mess it up for you a little bit. For your information, I've been managing OCTV just about 6 years. Before that time, the station was not managed as a TV station. They had no viewers. Most people did not know about OCTV. Since then, now we have over 12,000 viewers on YouTube and over 6,000 on Facebook every month. We have 11 part-time and 2 full-time employees that produce 16 local programs every week. We're a busy local public service station. By the way, OCTV is recognized as one of the best public stations in the state of Michigan by our peers, with programs loaned to stations on the west side of the state. I'm sure that you know that Oxford Community Television videos your meetings for the Vision. You probably know we video the Strawberry Festival with events, with parade, with 2 camera people and 2 announcers. Did you know we video concerts for the 3rd and 4th grade concerts for the Leonard Elementary? We have only 120 viewers because it's only for Leonard families and grandparents. But we do it because that's our job and that's our station. And it's done for you. By the way, some of the programs, over 1,000 viewers of some of our programs. We have a program called Schooling Around. We have many times visited the Leonard School, principal, teachers, and other events, because our job, once again, is our station, is for you. Sports? Cool. Any kids in Leonard that play any sport in Oxford High School, we will be on our station. We show football, girls and boys basketball, volleyballs, girls and boys soccer, girls and boys lacrosse, girls and boys tennis, baseball, safeball, softball, girls and boys swim, wrestling. In the summer, we even do the Little League, where they help kids with our scholarships. We take all the good shots of the child from their games, then make a disc for the coaches around the country. One girl from Leonard now has a scholarship at softball at Central University. Another grade in our area has 1 scholarship in Chicago. One boy got 1 from Kansas, and no sponsorship schools throughout Michigan. That's because her job as this station is for you. Jerry Borowski, our fire chief. She has 2 sons. 2 years ago, asked for help his son to help him get a disc for his soccer. He got his way. Jerry's now back in Nassau for the Oxford Community Television for soccer, which is great. You can't watch this station because you're a dish. You can still watch OCTV at OCT.org, and you watch YouTube and Facebook and all of our Leonard meetings and keep you all informed of your community. I'll give you a copy of this for you to enjoy this later on. Here's Jerry.
I just want to clarify, if you don't mind, the difference between franchise fees and PEG fees. Franchise fees is the 5% that Mike suggested that we put in the contract. That is what we're splitting with the village. In January, our governor signed SB 637. It's a Rights of Way Act and everything else. Within that act, it also gives cable providers, which would be Comcast, AT&T, and Charter, the ability to retain those franchise fees as in-kind services for us using their bandwidth. So eventually we could run out of franchise fees. The PEG fees, which should have been included in the contract 14 years ago, different management, they did not communicate with the village management and the township supervisors. So they didn't put that 2% PEG fees in that contract. That is strictly for capital expenditures. So that would be to keep the lights on, the telephone, us on the air. And Charter is giving us pushback right now, saying they didn't like I provided those packets that you saw. They didn't like that I put our entire budget in there. They want to see just a capital expenditure projection in our budget. So they're pushing back on that. They're also pushing back on them wanting a survey from every community that we serve to see if people want us here. They won't give us the numbers, thank you. They won't give us the numbers of who they provide service to, so they want us to survey the entire community. They're not giving us the parameters of the survey, what they want to know. So we're working on that, but I really wanted to clarify the PEG fees are strictly to keep our lights on, our telephones, etc. And we're still looking at a threat as far as franchise fees are concerned.
Texas copies like it.
Sure, Bill.
And Mike, I spoke with your attorney and I told him I would get him an electronic copy of the expenditures going forward. I've tried to call him back, I don't have his email address. I've tried to call him back and he hasn't returned my call.
I will get you the address.
Okay, that would be great. And I don't know if you have it at the village either. I think we dropped one off, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe we do have it.
He has all these horse things on there, which I could care less about.
Well.
I want to see something horse on
We
there.
tried very hard.
Seriously?
Just float around in 2 months, head it on.
Okay.
See there?
Cindy? Maybe afterwards?
No.
No? Okay. Well, then I really hate to interrupt you, but
I know.
I want to keep the council meeting moving along. So, even though I know how important that is to you.
Thank you, Mike.
Can I just say one more thing? Just one more. I
Yeah.
just want to invite everybody to come to see the studio that belongs to you.
Yeah, been
It's your studio.
Here, Gino.
Anybody know where they are?
Yep.
Besides Gino?
Seymour Lake Park.
They just built a new facility over at Seymour Lake Park. So, as Terry said, it's a public facility, but, you know, we gotta keep an eye on things if we want to keep it.
That's
So,
right. Please come and keep an eye on it.
okay, that said, council, back to this consideration. Are there any questions of me regarding how to proceed? Then I would look for a motion from the council to authorize the village president to sign for the village of Leonard and to provide 5% for the franchise fee, 2% for the PEG fee, and the additional information to support the request that was referred to by both Bill and Terry, which is the financials and the actual work that's done and the watch rates, et cetera, to support the system.
You want a motion?
Yes.
I'll motion for us to move forward with the OCC TV cable agreement at the 5% franchise, the 2% PEG, along with the additional information that they're looking for.
Very good.
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the motion by the council? Anybody else? Hearing none, could we have a roll call then, please?
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Okay. It was approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard.
All right. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. After the Strawberry Festival, you may recall we had a little rain on Strawberry Festival evening. And when the deluge or monsoon ended, we had a sinkhole located down near the mill where the intersection of Division Street and Elmwood are. It's a small hole on the surface, but I stuck my arm down through it and there's nothing under there. I mean, everything is washed away. So we've got to get that repaired. So Don, our DPW, estimates in the vicinity of $5,000 to cut the asphalt, remove it, and replace that pipe. It's probably clay tiles. It's an old system. Oh, Cindy, let me finish, okay?
I don't
So-
understand, why is the road company not liable for that?
The road company isn't they were responsible for any sewerage work that they did, but that was not sewerage work that pipe's probably 80, 90 years old under there. It's a clay pipe. So anyway, I'd like to ask the council for authorization to solicit bids. Hopefully we get them for our September meeting and we can get that approved. So at this time, I'm giving us an estimate of $5,000. It could be more. by the, when we get the bids, it could be less. But as far as paying for it, we do have money in our major fund drains of $5,000 that we haven't used, knock on wood, this year. So we can at least cover that much of the repair. And if we exceed that, then we'll have to find additional money, maybe from account reserves or from another fund, so.
Is there any way to get it done faster than September?
Well, we could call a special meeting.
Because it sounds like it could get worse.
Oh, this dry weather has been not good for the grass, but it sure has been giving us some time to get it done. If council wants, I will solicit bids, and as soon as I get 3, I will call a special meeting.
Why don't we
Please.
approve up to 5,000?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Up to, without a special meeting, anything over have to do a special meeting.
That's another option. It's up to the council.
I approve that.
5,000, just
Yeah, why don't we
a
approve up to 5,000
Okay,
to have it fixed, and then if it's over 5,000, then let's have a special meeting.
okay. That's a logical, reasonable way to
Is that your
approach.
motion?
What?
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay.
I'll second your motion.
Thank you, Shar.
Okay, are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. It is authorizing an expense, so we'll have a roll call on it, please.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
All right. Okay, next item on the agenda, it's kind of a bittersweet one. It's wonderful to have someone stepping up, but Phyllis Rowe has decided to reduce her role. We're not letting her out of it entirely, but she's reducing her role. She will no longer be the chairperson, but fortunately, she found someone with big enough shoes or feet to fill that spot. And Kyle's been working with the festival committee for, I think, at least, I thought it was 3 years, and has done a heck of a job. And he is willing to take on that responsibility as the festival committee chairperson. And so I am recommending that Kyle be appointed as the chairperson. And of course, we'll express our appreciation to Phyllis as well. We'll have probably have a resolution at our next meeting for that. So with that, would there be a motion then to support my nomination of Festival Committee Chairperson Kyle Stapp?
I'll make a motion to support your nomination of Kyle Stapp for Festival Committee Chairperson.
This is... Okay. All in favor of the motion appointing Kyle as the chairperson, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. All right, Kyle, unanimous, and thank you for stepping up. Phyllis, thank you for all your service thus far. Looking forward to some continued support. Okay. Okay, the next item is regards to another contract. The Village of Leonard is receiving $400 worth of credits, or community credits from SMART for operations in 2020. Part of our commitment to NODA is to authorize that those credits be assigned to NODA by the village. So this is one of those formalities where as long as we want to belong to NODA, we need to do this. So with that, it would be necessary for there to be a motion to authorize the village president to enter into the agreement to convert the money to, I'm looking for the exact wording, but clearly I can't find it. For services purchased from NODA in service of our residents. So with that, we need a motion and a support.
I make a motion that we transfer our smart credits to NODA
For 2020.
for 2020
Okay?
in the amount of $400.
I'll second.
Second, Alex? Okay, are there any questions on the motion? Okay, hearing none, we'll have a roll call then to authorize the village president to transfer those credits.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
All right. Okay, the next item on the agenda is in regards to ProTech, which is the Michigan Coalition to Protect Public Rights of Way. Basically, there's an act in Michigan called the Metro Act that authorizes just about any utility or cable TV or whatever to use the right-of-ways basically for whatever purpose they have, legitimate purpose. However, over the years, the right-of-ways, the rights of the property owners have been eroded by the companies, and so they work every year on our behalf to make sure that we have the services available, but that they're provided timely, and that there's assistance to the local communities when there's problems. The cost for the village for the year would be $50.38 to support this coalition of Michigan communities, and we have always supported it, and they have stepped up for us in the past and helped us when we have had problems. So I recommend to the council that we continue that association with ProTech and pay them the community contribution.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the village president to continue our membership with ProTech in the amount of $50.38.
I would like to second that motion.
Thank you. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the final on new business item is sidewalk repair. The council knows Don Irwin and I literally walked every foot of sidewalk in the village and made a pretty meticulous notes on what needs to be done and where the worst pieces are, etc. And I think most of us know where the worst pieces are. But failing that, to do all of it all at once, I would like to recommend to the council that we allocate or authorize the village to solicit bids for repairs to the worst pieces, which would be mainly, there's 4 or 5 where tree roots have severely damaged the sidewalks. It's not the answer that I would like to see, but I think it's reasonable to do that. Now, as far as money goes, we're going to have to do this. Basically, we're going to have to find the funds either in the budget or in account reserves. And I'm recommending that we authorize up to $5,000 to make these repairs. Now, this won't be block grant money, so we can hire any contractor. You know, we can get bids and hire a contractor to do it. Unlike the program which we're taking on for 2020, which is a block grant funded program to put the handicap warnings at each of the intersection sidewalks. That will have to be done either strictly by the village or strictly by a contractor that is willing to live up to the Davis-Bacon requirements, which increases the cost significantly if the village doesn't do it. But that's the future, and this is now. So I guess it sounds like the preferable method would be to allow the village to solicit bids and then authorize the low bid for the 4 or 5. And I will give you all a summary of which ones Don thinks need to get done first. But this would also mean, however, it might be mean that we'll have to have a tree company come in and do some root removal on a couple sections. So we might be looking at removing trees at some point in the future due to this work. Okay, so that said, what is the pleasure of the council? Do you want some input from the, anybody have any comments on sidewalks?
I have a question. Does that take care of all of them then? Is the government going to be happy with just those few done?
No, we're not going to be, yeah, we have to find a way to do it, but I've had a lot, I don't know about the rest of the council, but I've had several phone calls from residents as well as face-to-face, and there are concerns about a resident being forced to pay for maintaining their sidewalk. I think it's only fair, at least at this point, since it is such a tough question and a tough thing to do, that we try and make the most repairs that we can with the money we have, and then we'll have to worry about maintaining them as we reduce the number of feet that need it. It's not the answer, but it's the only one I think we can afford. I mean, that's the only one I can recommend to the council, so.
Right now it's 4 specific
4 or
sections.
5, it depends, if they're here, it should be cheaper once they're here.
Yeah, to do them all at the same time. So
Right.
we're talking maybe 10
Three
sidewalk flags?
3 flags or 4 flags, which is about 20 feet.
With plus removal of tree.
Right. Yeah, it's not gonna make some people happy, because I'm afraid there will be some damage to the trees, but, Mr. Malia, you had your hand first?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, when we start this here, if we do start charging residents for their sidewalks, are all the sidewalks gonna be brought up to par before we start that?
Well, that's one of the things that some of the other residents have brought up too. And it really kind of seems fair, but if the village can't do it, then I guess we'll have to face that question at that time. I'm still of the mind that going forward, if we do adopt a policy, the village should contribute. It shouldn't just fall on the property owner to have to pay for all of the work. Most communities charge 50%, 25%, and then the residents pick up the rest, so. But I don't think that's something that we have to decide tonight, because with this much time left in the season, if we're gonna get anything done, let's take care of the worst of it and then move on in the future.
But I was gonna say, for about 10 years, I've been trying to get that sidewalk out in front of my house fixed.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just went on deaf ears for years.
Well, it wasn't deaf ears, it had been tried to fix once before, and I've been over there personally and tried to figure things out. But as you know, that's a complicated situation over there, and it's a bigger project.
You're gonna have to dig the root out.
Right.
Because, you know, during the Strawberry Festival, a lot of people walking up and down that street. It was a tripping hazard.
Yeah.
Now that Marlene's on a walker, I've gotta say that I'm really nervous about it.
I understand. I think the council does too. I think we all appreciate that everything has a life cycle. Most of the sidewalks were put in probably the 60s, 50s and 60s, if not, some of them are only 4 feet wide. I mean, they're very narrow by today's standards, so we're doing what we can with what we have, so. Okay, Mr. Rathberg, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you're gonna redo those sidewalks, you should consider reducing the water table under the sidewalks. Fix the drain.
You dry people's wells up, basically? You'd like us to dry people's wells up?
No, make sure the storm drains are working properly so they can
That goes without saying.
Yeah, 'cause we've got some drains that aren't working right. And it's just gonna lift the sidewalks in the winter and drop them back down.
We appreciate that. Okay, anybody else? Oh, no, Yvonne?
Yes, I know.
What's up?
You know, I work with Charlie Hamilton and Malay,
Yeah,
doing that sidewalk down by the school. We laid that sidewalk. If we get the community, there are people around here, the light, you know, the DPW's got forms. If we pull our sidewalk out, make our forms, all you gotta do is pay for this cement.
yeah, I mean, that would be wonderful.
And we got your John Deere tractor to haul the pieces away.
Yeah, there'd probably be some.
You know, that's
expense.
saving a lot of money right there.
Yeah, do you want to be in charge? If you can find, if you, I know you will, I knew you'd jump at that. If you want to try and, I'll work with you, if you can find a method or a way to engage people that want to do that, I'm in.
Okay,
But barring that, I'm still going to proceed with this.
okay.
Because unless something happens overnight, I don't want this to get pushed off another year because of weather.
Oh, no, it'd be done for the summer if I'm gonna do it.
Okay,
Don't mess with her, you know that.
all right. Well, forgive me if I'm sorry. Mr. Martell,
How would you know if your sidewalk needs to be replaced?
if it's what?
What are some of the rules and guidelines?
Well, we looked at cracks and whether it was tilted or holding water. Those were the three parameters.
Is there like a, go by inches or
Inches of,
like it's raised above the next sidewalk?
yeah, anything under 2 inches, anything 2 inches or over is considered hazardous by the state and by insurance. So anything less than that is not good. So Don and I, we used anything from 1/2 inch or more, just as a starting point. So I know there's 2 or 3 in front of my place that they're just a little bit lifted, but they trip people, so.
Rounding the corners.
Yeah, Don and I have talked about getting a grinder and seeing about
She's got a
grinding
big
some of
I mean,
the high
it's a-
ones, but
it's a temporary
unfortunately,
fix.
a lot of them are where there's trees and stuff. That's they're quite often associated with that.
So point of clarification, are you authorizing Yvonne to take the tractor and do the work, or are you authorizing her to get people to do the work?
No, I'll work with her if she can get a coalition together or a
Okay.
group.
Okay,
It's still up to the village how we proceed.
okay.
That's your understanding?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see the forms in the barn.
Well, there's
still there.
yeah, there's 2x4s and some plywood and stuff there, yeah.
They could color them.
Just the two
We
records.
look at color their sidewalks a
Why,
different
because
color.
everything's straight? We're not gonna have any curves in the sidewalk.
Yeah, I saw that over the bridge the other day.
Anybody can do
It's all
trees
red.
in winter?
It's all
Anybody
red.
can grind those stumps?
No, there's a new guy in Lakeville though,
Close it up.
besides K&S. Yes, Phyllis?
So what are we gonna do about the, like across the street from me, the blacktop, the little strips and down by the Sotheby's house? Are we gonna put those as sidewalks or?
Well, I think all the asphalt's gonna have to go. But it's not gonna go this year.
Right, right. Because I know the one across from me.
It's not my decision, it's up to the council. But as we all know, time slips away, and that's what's happened for a number of years. So let's try and do this, get the worst taken care of, and then we'll move on from there.
When do you reasonably think we'd see bids back? Do you think we'd see something relatively soon, or do you think it'd be around the time frame for next meeting?
Well, I would think with Ivana on the case, and then when they hear that we want them to work cheap, they'll give us bids pretty fast before they get asked to do it for nothing. So I think it's kind of like with the sinkhole repair. If we can get some bids and get them moved.
I mean, I'm not it almost makes sense if we do the same conditions with this as we did with the sinkhole.
We only have $1,500 in the
Yeah,
budget.
that's what I mean. We
Yeah.
find out what the bids are and then we hold a special meeting. Cause I mean, I think once we see what the bids come back at, then we need to make a decision. Until we have them, we don't have enough information.
Yeah, we're looking at, what we've done in the past is we've allocated money from other items rather than go to cash reserves or to account reserves. And, of course, that could impact us in October when it comes time to make a decision on equipment or sewer studies. But I would prefer to take action now on this rather than wait. But that's why we're here, to decide that, so. And as far as where the money comes from, once we get we don't adopt by line item, we adopt by functional category. So as long as we don't exceed the amount of money in a category, but we're still gonna have to plan on where that money's gonna come from. And chances are it'll probably come from new equipment or some area like that, and we'll have to transfer it to that account for that use. Okay, so it's a pleasure of the council.
I make a motion that the president solicit bids for sidewalk repair not to exceed $5,000. And that, are you wanting to come back to us like with the sinkhole, or you want to wait till?
Yeah, my thought is I'll do as much as $5,000 can do.
All right.
If you authorize me
All right.
to get 3 bids, and I'll let you know, I'll give you the bids, and if you have a preference or a reason, but it'll be low bidder unless there's a problem. And if there's a problem, I'll call a meeting again, so.
Okay, that's my bid, or my
I'll second.
motion.
Okay. Are there any questions on the motion? Council, residents, visitors? Okay, could we have a roll call then, please? To approve the village president soliciting bids not to exceed $5,000 to repair the worst of the sidewalk problems in the village sidewalk system.
Mrs. Arundel?
Yes.
Mrs. Swack?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes. Right. Moving on then to old business. Council, I'm afraid I still haven't got a recommendation for the planning commission vacancy. The commission was not able to meet in June because they lacked a quorum. So I will get busier. Our first volunteer just got up and left. but smart man. So anyway, that'll remain open for the duration. And then the part that, by way of explanation and information, in the DPW, July chloride and grading was a problem for the village, mainly because the truck had broken down and we were unable to get Kurt he just couldn't get it in his schedule to get it fixed. So we went ahead and chlorided the streets without having graded all of them. On Beza Street, a couple of residents took upon it themselves to perform the grading work. And did a nice job.
You think?
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah.
Who did it?
You know what?
Her husband.
They came down, chlorided, holes this freaking deep in there,
Yeah.
and they chloride.
Yeah.
How much sense does that make?
Well,
So he
it
got
was,
out and he graded the whole thing. And then, the new lady got out and was filling some of her holes. It shows you the neighbors, that you do have good neighbors. And Lucas, who is the one that applied for the job, actually got a friend to come in with some equipment and went down the road. Nice job. I have a problem though.
of course.
When it's like that, and we don't have the equipment, I understand that, why is it not hired done?
We actually tried to hire it done, but we didn't realize the truck would not be available. We thought we would have the truck repaired. So we contacted the chloride, the Eisenhardts, to see if they could run, because we've done that in the past. When the truck's been broken down, we've had the grader come through, and they couldn't do it. It was, I guess, not available. So we had a decision to make, or I should say, I had a decision to make. Do we not chloride right before the Strawberry Festival when we have all kinds of traffic on the roads? Yeah, the roads are bumpy, but at least the dust won't be a
The
major.
roads were more than bumpy, Mike.
Well,
You had to go down.
no, you're right.
Did you go down the middle?
Of course I did.
Really? You
Yes.
thought that was not a problem to you?
No,
Those roads have
of
never
course.
been that bad, ever. I'm sorry.
I appreciate, no, I know, you need to get it out. Come on, Cindy.
Our taxes go to something. I understand garbage, thank you, I appreciate that. But when we have a DPW,
We have a part-time DPW.
and I don't
which is
expect Donnie to work
which
80
is-
hours a week, I don't.
Well,
He's gonna
Donnie,
kill
he
himself.
won't or can't, so
Well,
that's
he's gonna
good.
kill himself.
Yeah.
Something needs to be done. If you can't do it, it needs to be hired out.
Well, part of it is the truck, and that's why the council's been talking about the truck for about a year now, is can we make this, is it worth keeping putting money in this if we can't get it?
And all
if
I
it's not
hear right
available?
now is, well, we might have to take money from new equipment.
Yeah.
You
To
better
go
pay
to
more
something
taxes
else.
so you can afford all of this to keep the roads nice and keep things running. and-
What did you say?
You know, I would like to know that.
You
No.
you wouldn't have to
Yeah.
hear any of this if that's the case. How
No,
about
you're
just
right.
go
No,
But you hear
more?
something else.
I
No,
don't care.
yeah.
What's another percentage?
What street are you on? Where do you,
We're
Let-
right on Forest.
Love
Oh, okay.
Rosine's house.
We don't have sidewalks.
I think Rosine's house. No?
no. But
I'm sure there's so much.
it doesn't matter, I was just curious.
Can you raise taxes to a certain percent without going before?
Yeah. Yes. The village,
Things go up, I understand
the
that. I
state-
don't like paying more taxes either, but
I don't either.
if we're hurting this
State
badly.
law allows villages to levy up to 12.5 mils without, just because they're a village. We levied 6 mils up until 2 years ago, added a mill to help pay for the road project here on Elmwood Street. But a mill increase raises about $10,000 a year, maybe just a little more. So yeah, it might pay for a truck payment or whatever, but,
Pay for some new sidewalks.
Yeah.
well, you can't, it won't do both. I'm glad this meeting's being recorded because I've not known a lot of residents to come in and say, go ahead and raise my taxes. In fact, most of the residents say, don't expect me to pay for my sidewalk repairs or grade my roads, so,
I expect it if I'm paying taxes, I expect that now.
yeah.
Maybe we need to make a motion to look at increasing our taxes on the next thing by 1 mil. We're looking for money. We don't have it. And to make it justified across the entire village, I have to agree with her that I think it's something that we need to consider, because then no one can complain that it's just them, or it's fair across the board. And I think it might help.
Oh, it would definitely help, but it's a bitter pill to swallow,
Well,
Well,
it's a bitter
we-
pill for anyone to swallow.
Right.
We're gonna pay for it one way or another. We either pay
Right.
for it with taxes or we pay for it with reduced services. And reduced service would mean your roads don't get plowed. So it really comes down to community choice as to what we want. Do we want higher taxes? But this is the argument that we always struggle with. Nobody wants to pay for the services they get, and the services we get aren't good enough, right? It's a difficult argument.
Phyllis?
This is just a question. What does it cost us when you hire Eisenhardt's grader? Do you have any idea what it costs?
It was, I think $150 an hour. Do you remember, Judy? $150 an hour, and it takes about 2.5 hours. Depends on how bad they are.
Because in my opinion, our truck bed grader thing, the blade, is really not to grade the roads. That's for,
Plowing.
isn't that more for the snow and stuff?
No, you actually, we changed, they have a serrated
Oh, okay.
blade.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're designed to do,
Okay.
but they
So
they
why-
can't perform like a grader
Right,
performs. They don't have the
So why
ability.
would we not just like have them, does it cost like the same amount of money that like maybe have the county do
Oh, no.
it? It's more?
Oh, yeah, no, it's significantly more.
Okay. So why don't we just line up Eisenhardt's to do it like?
Eisenhardt's does ours right before they chloride. They grade it and then they chloride it.
Yeah, why do we not, instead of doing with our equipment and, you
Well,
know,
we have done that on occasion in the
Right,
past.
why don't we just line
In this
them up?
particular situation, July, it was a bump in the road. You know,
Right, and
it
I
wasn't
know
good.
Eisenhardt's grader operator was off, he had his surgery, so I knew he wasn't, you know, he was off. And they only have the one grader operator. But can we line them up to do it like 3 or 4 times during the summer and then,
I'm sure we can.
yeah.
What's the cost of?
It doesn't seem like
ourselves
that's a
doing
lot of money to pay to have it graded.
Well, that's 400, 450.
So I mean, what's the difference between us doing it and them doing it?
What's the hourly rate on the truck? Do you remember, Judy, offhand?
About $80.
So half,
How much?
$80 an hour.
give or take half.
So,
But then you gotta take the wear and tear on that truck. too.
Sure. And I just wonder if there's a way to, we only have a few dirt roads that get graded. So if
Right.
there's a way to jump on the schedule of the larger picture when Eisenhower's doing it to maybe cut those costs down?
well, we can explore that. I can talk with
See if they can
road
just
maintenance and
add
see
it?
if they wanna.
Because I mean, their grader is a
Package
lot more equipped to do that than our truck, I'm sure. So, I mean.
It's just
I don't know.
it's just getting the cost down, because again, it all comes back down to money, so we have to make sure that there's money for it, otherwise.
Well, as a council, then we'll consider, especially when we start budgeting.
Yeah, let me know. I'll help participate in that conversation.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Was that for me or no?
No,
Okay.
I like that idea. Yay.
Okay, I do too.
Oh, but I was doing it too.
No, I knew better than that.
Oh, my God.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, President's report. We had no FOIA requests. Also, we've had no applications for block grant assistance. In regards to ordinance enforcement, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but 4285 Forest has made significant improvements. The main reason being is that we finally tracked down the real owner of the property, who is out of state, and when they were made aware of the situation, they stepped in and told the residents either clean up or you're getting up, or
So that's what Roger.
we're gonna.
I thought he had bought that house.
He told everybody, and this county finally got it right on the tax rolls that it's in somebody else's name. It had been on there, then it was
Has
off.
cleaned it up a little bit.
Oh, he's quite a little bit.
Yeah.
But it has
He's done
to,
that before though, too.
yeah, that's as long as he's not buying the property, we have a handle with the owners. Because they don't want to have to go to court either and try and defend having to clean that up.
Are residents that don't live in the house, are they supposed to keep the yards mowed?
If they've been previously mowed, yeah.
Well, he has since passed away and I don't know what's going on with it, but the
Are you
yard's not
talking
been mowed.
about, yeah, I was just gonna, I was supposed to bring that up in public.
Yeah,
because-
I spoke with John about that today. So we're
Oh,
gonna take,
okay,
if,
yeah, 'cause it's.
I was not aware that it was as bad as it is, and we're gonna address that. Mr. Terry's old house, Bob Terry.
Yeah, it's really bad. I know my shovel was way over. The
Right.
guy behind him.
And just for information as well, every resident is responsible for the front of their house, from the road's edge to onto their property, even if it is part of the right-of-way. That's the law. So residents that don't cut along the road should be cutting along the road. And if they're not, they should change and do it. So, enough said on that. So where are we? I guess we're moving on to the trustee committee reports. Phyllis? Kyle left, so you're up. Got anything to tell us, about the Strawberry Festival?
No, we had our final meeting and the new treasurer, you got all the information. We still have $10,000 left in our treasurer, but it costs about $9,000 to put the festival on. So we're looking for more donations, and we're taking private donations now too with PayPal.
Good.
It's on our website.
Yeah, I figured we got some.
There was plenty.
I didn't ask the fire department if they sold everything. I put it all over Facebook.
Yeah, I don't know.
I kept forgetting to ask them.
Yeah, I don't know about the strawberries either. Okay, well, thank you again, Phyllis. Cable Commission,
You already had
I
it.
think we're all set, right? Decorating Committee, I want to express my appreciation and that of the council and the village to Picnic's Greenhouse on Rochester Road. They donated the flowers for the Four Corners and Phyllis Rowe. And who helped you? Scotty? Mm-hmm. Phyllis Rowe and her grandson planted them for the village. So I hate to admit it, but we didn't fill them fast enough with flowers, and the owner drives by. Phyllis told me this. And he just said it was driving him crazy seeing those sitting there with nothing in them. So he contacted her. Somehow they got together.
Me too, it was such a big deal, and then they're empty. The ones by the mill are empty too.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike never got around to doing it, so it's one of those things.
Somebody should just volunteer to do it.
I would do it, no, I would, but I'm not rich either, so where does the money come from for the flowers?
You beg for it. They get donated, you go in and you ask for them.
Oh, I could do that, I could plant those things.
I guess if I would have noticed that, how many, I mean, and I
There's-
live right across the street, and I
there's-
didn't even notice
There's
it.
4 or 5, I think.
There's four. There's one
Is
of
there
them.
four?
One of them rotted apart. So.
Oh. I'm sure he would have donated those too,
Yeah.
and maybe next year.
Yeah, I don't have a problem doing it, I go buy them,
Okay.
all of them.
Thank you.
Just about.
I'll try and remember that, but you know I'm getting older, so I may not remember.
Look at the hair, I can tell by.
Okay.
It's the job, that's what it is.
North Oakland Transportation Authority, they're having a meeting this week. I don't know that there's anything major going on.
The decorating committee?
Need to
Did I
cancel.
skip it?
No,
Oh,
but we need to
decorate.
cancel the meeting.
Oh,
We're
that's
we're
right.
gonna cancel the meeting
Okay.
since, a couple people are unable to
Okay.
attend on the committee. And there's
okay.
nothing going on for decoration at this time.
So can we have a motion then to cancel the August Decorating Committee meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Any questions on the motion to cancel the meeting due to lack of quorum? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. All right. North Oakland Transportation Authority, I think they got a new vehicle. I'm not sure, but I think I've seen it on the road. It's different looking. It's smaller. It's like one of those little...
Kind of weird looking.
Yeah, I thought so too. But anyway, it's transportation. And I saw somewhere on some forum, somebody was looking for transportation or a driver, but I don't know if they don't know about notice. I'm gonna have to drop them a line and see. I think they look,
Oh, for somebody with Parkinson's, wasn't it?
yeah, I think that was the
I
same
saw, I
one.
just saw that myself.
Yeah. Should get a hold of her maybe. Unless he needs it. Yeah.
Oh, that's where it was at, on that next door camper or something? Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna let him know or should I?
No, you can.
Okay. Thanks a lot. No, I'm glad to do it. Planning Commission, I don't know, the meeting, there wasn't a quorum for June. So let's let the meeting stand, and then if necessary, if there's not a quorum available for...
Thursday, correct?
Right.
Do you have anything to do at the meeting?
No, I don't believe so.
Judy, you haven't,
I don't have anything for them,
yeah, no.
Well, then why don't we cancel?
but they have to have so many meetings.
Oh,
a
okay.
year. She was, that's why
That
she
was
had
one of the
scheduled.
reasons, yeah.
Oh, okay,
So let's
So
try and
we'll
have
see.
one, and if not, we'll cancel.
okay.
I'll check with them.
Pollyant Trail Management Council. The only real item is, if you hadn't been to the wellhead, or to the trailhead lately, the water's been turned off due to, we had some bad water samples, and it's gonna be kind of we had to sterilize the well again, and now we have to submit more water samples. So I'm gonna try and get that done as soon as possible, but. it's
You could delegate something.
Pardon?
You could try delegating.
Yeah, well, Linda Moran, the trail manager,
Okay.
between her vacation and my vacation, it's dragged on, so we should.
Got a hold of Hanson,
Of who?
the person that donated the drinking fountain.
What about it?
You should get a hold of him and see if he maybe, I'm dead serious on that.
Well,
He probably would.
well, and then, right now, we've paid for the treatments, so we need to get it open. As soon as we're sure it's safe, it'll be open back up.
I told him it was not on, what?
Oh, yeah, thanks, Cindy.
I told him it's because the water's so crummy here.
Well, it's not that, it wasn't E. coli, but there's a predictive bacteria that if it's present, it means that there's a chance it could get bad, so.
Okay, so what has to happen? I mean, to fix that,
I need to take 4 water samples and have them all come back good.
is there something though that can be done? Because I'm telling you, he'd probably do it.
Well, we've already paid to have the well sanitized again by the well driller. That's what you have to do, so yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, the water was always safe. It was just that statistically, this indicator bacteria, they shut it down, so. Our health department, Oakland County Health Department, they're no fun to deal with. I gotta tell you. They're difficult at best. Okay, enough whining. Village Park, Mike, what do we got? Anything?
Supposed to have a meeting Wednesday,
Okay,
it's on board.
let's meet. Gonna be able to, Shar? Gonna want to?
I can, I just need to remember.
Okay, me too. Okay.
Because one of the benches has been tipped over.
Oh, the cement ones. I did see that, yeah. Well, I should have mentioned under the DPW report too, the belt broke on the lawnmower. So that's why things are getting a little long, but.
Are you kidding me? That brand new one?
Yeah, it takes some abuse.
That's all it does.
But I ordered it, so it should be here Wednesday, so hopefully we'll be all set.
Maybe you'll have a new employee by then. They can do that.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, when you get done with Don, if you can still talk, have him call me and let me know what's gonna happen, okay?
Should I not do that?
I could stop you.
That's true.
Okay, Community Development Block Grant Council received the monthly update. If there's no questions on that. I do have some correspondence this month. One is from Freedom Road Transportation, and that's there's a mileage reimbursement program for older adults, veterans, and people with disabilities who are seeking transportation to behavioral health and or substance use treatment services. It's for only individuals in rural areas of Oakland County without public transportation and without Medicaid coverage. The reimbursement, if somebody is able to take advantage of it, is 58 cents per mile. It's not considered income and will not affect benefits. We'll post this on the board, but it's...
I think it's out there already.
Okay, thank you. There is a website to get more, and a phone number to get more information. The other thing is the Michigan Tobacco Quit Hotline. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services wants everybody to know that has a free service with free nicotine patches, gum, or lozenges through the end of September. So it's part of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention campaign. So I would say you would have to contact Oakland County Health Department for further information. With that, I have nothing further. What is anything else from the council?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
8:10, that wasn't too bad. Good night, everybody. Thank you for attending.